Let's create a child theme, shall we? Hey, welcome. My name is Sanjay. I'm a UI UX designer and developer based out of Franklinton, North Carolina. In this video, I want to talk all about child themes, but before we do, I do want to address what exactly even is a theme and why might you need it for your WordPress site. So the purpose of a WordPress parent theme is just basically for design and functionality of your site. Now, why might you want to customize that, right? So maybe you want to create some extra functionality for your client, maybe create some extra styling and make something look really awesome for your client. That's all great. But the problem with creating your own theme that I found is that you're on the hook for security patches. You're on the hook for keeping up to date with WordPress core and themes and plugins, and that gets really tricky. So something that I like to do is create WordPress child themes. Child themes basically just sit right on top of your WordPress parent theme. And the cool thing is, you're not necessarily on the hook for all the security patches and compatibility issues that you might have when having a parent theme. And so the parent theme editors can continue to do their job, and you can just do your job creating an awesome, well-functioning WordPress site. Now, of course, you should still make sure that your code is up to date, should make sure that your code is secure. But as far as the long game of trying to do security patches and trying to come up with compatibility plans and things like that, you don't have to really worry about any of that. So in this video, we'll talk all about WordPress child themes and how you might create one for your site. Now, there's a lot of different ways to create a child theme. I highly recommend you check out WordPress's official documentation about how to create those yourself. Typically, what I do is develop with a parent theme called Divi. And so in this video, we're going to talk about how to create a Divi child theme, which is similar to the WordPress documentation with a few caveats. But basically, when creating a child theme, all you need to do is create a style.css file and a functions.php file, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. All right, so as we get started here, we're going to be using a program called Local by WP Engine. If you haven't already, watch my tutorial on how to set up Local in 10 minutes. It's a great program to use. I use it for most of my WordPress development, so I would highly recommend it to you as well. So we're here on our groovy new site, which we set up in our last video. And what we're going to do is set up a child theme. Now, just so that we can see it, let's go ahead and open the admin area here. Okay, and like I said in the last video, never use the username of admin, but we're just doing it just for the purpose of this video. All right, and that's why I was like, oh no, what are you doing? All right, so what we're going to do is go to appearance here. Now, what you're going to see are all the default themes that ship directly with WordPress. And as I mentioned before, what I'd like to do is actually create a Divi child theme. And in order to do that, I need to have the Divi parent theme. Now, you can get the Divi theme by going to elegantthemes.com and go ahead and sign up for an account. I have the lifetime access. I love this because it's lifetime updates, unlimited website usage, and so I can use it on any of my client projects. Anyways, I highly recommend it. I've been using it for several years now. It's a great product. Once you signed up in your members area, what you're going to do is go down here and download the Divi theme. Okay. All right. So it's going to download for us, and we're going to go back to our manage themes here, and we're just going to add a new theme, upload this theme, and I'm going to drag it in. Okay. What you'll receive when you are in the members area, download the Divi theme, is a zip file with all of the contents that you need. So you'll just drop it in here and hit install now. Okay, fantastic. We'll go ahead and hit activate. And almost immediately what you'll see when you navigate to the front end is a basic Divi install, just all the basic bells and whistles of Divi. All right. And what you'll want to make sure also to do is when you're in here, you're going to want to go to your username and API key. All right. And then you'll see your username. And if you scroll down, you can go ahead and generate a new API key. And so in our case, I'm going to do Groovy new site. Okay. And that's just a label for you. And you can go ahead and click this and copy it. And you're going to go back here into the Divi settings here. So we're going to go to theme options. And we're going to go down to updates. Now, without a username and API key, you are not going to be able to update your theme in the future, which can basically cause a lot of security risks and also make for issues with compatibility with the WordPress core in the future. So definitely recommend you do this. Okay, I'm going to put in my username and API key. Fantastic. Gives me the green check. And we have the Divi theme already installed. How cool is that? All right, so next thing that we're going to do is install the Divi child theme. Now we actually need to write the code for that. So what I'm going to do is go back over to local, and I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to go to open site shell. It's going to give me a little warning here. Okay. So it's going to open the site shell for me. Okay. And in here, let me just show you what's in here. Okay. It's going to take me into Groovy new site. It's going to take me into the app directory, and inside the app directory is all of your WordPress files, your WP content, your WP includes, all of that. So we're in the public directory, and what I need to do is go into the theme directory. So from here, I'm going to change my directory, and I'm going to go into WP content, and then we're going to go into themes. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do is create a directory here called Divi child. Okay, so now what you're going to notice is that there is a Divi parent theme here, and there's this empty folder called Divi child, which we're going to put all of our child theme files inside of. So next thing I'm going to do is navigate into Divi child. Fantastic. And now you're going to use the editor of your choice. I choose to use the VS Code editor, but you can use whichever one you want. So I'm going to go ahead and open that, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so now that we're in here, we're in the Divi child folder. There's going to be two different files that you need to go ahead and add some code to. The first one is your style.css. Okay, and in style.css, we're going to add a comment block. Okay, here's a little comment block. And the nice thing is I've already written down some of this documentation for you, so you can go to the post down in the description, and you'll see some of the code that you need to add. So here's the code that we're going to add, and I'm going to explain each of these as we get started. So what WordPress does is it looks at your style.css file to figure out all of the theme metadata. You'll see that Divi actually also has its own style.css file, and that's where it stores its own theme metadata. In our case, we're going to put a theme name. The theme URI, typically whenever you're creating your own theme, this would be a nice place to put where you can actually buy the theme. So I'm just putting example.com for now. The description, you can put just like, I usually just do customizations and then whatever the name is of the client. So in this case, it's Groovy. And then the author is me. Hey, it's me. And then author URI, this is typically, you can put your GitHub link or the link to your agency site or whatever it be. And then the template, this is very, very important. This is going to be the exact name of the parent theme, right? So if you remember, we had, oops, that's not it. Okay, if you remember, let me back up here. Remember, the name of our theme here is Divi, right? So I just want to make sure that if this was any different case, just make sure that it matches case and everything like that. Okay. And then the version number here, we're using semantic versioning. And in the post, I actually talk about semantic versioning a little bit more down here. And John Hughes also has a really great article on that, so definitely go and check that out. But yeah, we use semantic versioning. There's more details down in the description. We're going to start right now on the 0.1.0, and then as we go, we'll add more numbers to this, and that just helps WordPress with caching. It also helps us as developers to know which version is being corrupt or which version needs to be updated, things like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add a functions.php file. So we're going to go in here, functions.php file. Okay, and most of the time when you're doing like basic functionality, you're not like updating any sort of like a template, so like your page template or your post template or anything like that. You'll drop everything in functions.php. Now in Divi's case, Divi knows that once there's a child theme, that we need to what's called enqueue or load that style sheet, the style.css sheet, to the actual WordPress build. But what happens is that then it's not loading any of the styles from Divi, which I guess if you don't want it to, then that's fine. But then you'd have to write a bunch of CSS, which is just really annoying. So now what we're going to do is go back over to this post here. All right. And we're going to grab this code. Don't worry, I'll explain it all. Grab this code in here, okay? So the first thing that we'll see is we're opening our PHP tag, and you don't want to close this PHP tag. Theoretically, you could go down here and close it, but just the way that WordPress works, that would cause a lot of problems, so don't do that. The next thing is that there's two things here, right? We're writing a function, and we're adding an action. So we'll start with the function. The name of the function can be anything you want. I try to make it descriptive, and it should be in what's called snake case. I would recommend that you go to the WordPress documentation for more about syntax and how their naming conventions and stuff like that. I usually like to keep things as similar to the WordPress naming conventions, just so that people after me, theme developers and like other types of people, are going to be able to read this and know exactly what it does. So anyways, I try to make it as descriptive as possible. So enqueue scripts, basically loading these scripts, and then the name of the client, in this case, it's Groovy. So now underneath here, you're going to see a little WordPress function. Okay, it's called WP enqueue style. Now here's the deal. WP enqueue style has a few what are called parameters. So let's go. This is what I always do. I go to the documentation. Okay. And you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parameters that you can add. And I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but just pay attention to where it says required and where it says optional. A lot of the parameters here are optional. And so the only thing that you really technically need is a handle. So let's go back here. Okay, so this is the handle. Okay, and that handle is important, but in our case, we're just going to call this parent style. But it's good to have this because, again, we want to make sure that everything is named and labeled. And in the future, if you ever do any further, more complex development, you may actually end up calling this string elsewhere. So that's why that's important. Okay, the next part here. Okay, you notice that we're not putting all of our parameters, but the next part here is another function. And this function right here basically gets the template directory. So it's reaching into the Divi parent directory. So literally, if you were to, let's go open this here. All right, so let's go into the Divi parent directory. All right, and here you are. Here's that style.css file. And literally that style.css file, like I said before, style.css. All right, here it is. And that style.css file is just like the one that we created. It has the theme URI, it has the version number, all that other wonderful fun stuff. Okie dokie. So that is getting the path for the template directory, so the theme directory. And then we're just saying, hey, get the style.css file from that directory. Okay. Now there's other things we could add to this function, but just for simplicity, we've only added 2 parameters, the required one and then the path to the style that we're enqueuing. Okay, the next thing is a add action function here, and that's going to take a WNQ scripts handle here. And basically what we're saying is, okay, we want to do this action. We want to enqueue this script right here. And in order to enqueue this script right here, we have to pass in the WP-enqueue scripts. Okay? All right, fantastic. So now what that's going to do is going to load, it's going to help load the parent theme scripts, and it will also load our style scripts kind of automatically. So we'll go ahead and save this. It looks like I did something incorrect here. Did I do wrong? Let's see. Okay. Troubleshooting for the win. All right, let's see what we did wrong. Syntax error. Okie doke. Oh, right. Okay. So yes. Gotta put that. Here we go. Okay, fantastic. So what happened was there was a syntax error, so I basically need to put the slash inside of style.css, otherwise it won't work. Okay, hit save here. Yay. All right, and then we go back. What you're gonna see, again, you have the theme details, and you can go ahead and refresh your page just in case. And I know there's no like thumbnail or anything, and we'll get to that, but let's go ahead and activate just so that you can see this immediately. Okay, so now we have a new theme called Groovy, and if you go in here, you'll see that this is a child theme of Divi. How cool is that? And now when we go to our site, not much will have changed, right? But you can change some things. And just to kind of show you what that process looks like, let's go into our style sheet, okay? And just to show you, don't do this, but just to show you, we're gonna say font size 130 pixels. Why not? All right, and hit upload here. Okay, and then if we were to actually hold on, let me see what this is. Inspect. Is this an H2? That is an H2. Okay. All right. Let's go back here. Let's call this an H2. Wow! Look what happened. Like you can do whatever you want now with styling. You can add custom functionality. This is why I absolutely love having a child theme. Now, just as a last piece here, I'm going to go ahead and just remove that. All right. As a last piece here, I do want to talk about the screenshot.png file. Okay, you could use the editor of your choice again, right? So I use Illustrator all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Illustrator and kind of walk you through my steps here. All right, so the width and the height that I like to use for my screenshots is 1200 by 900. Definitely, depending on when you're watching this video, you can go and look at the theme documentation, the official theme documentation from WordPress, and it will give you a number that you can use. But this is the one that I use and the one that Divi recommends. And I'm going to call this screenshot.png. Oh, sorry, screenshot for now, and we'll save the PNG. Okay. All right, and we're just going to very simply, just so that you can see these different things. I'm not going to get too far into design here. Woohoo. All right, let's add a color. Yeah, nice red color. All right, take away that stroke. And just so that we can also see it, we're gonna have Groovy. I like big, bold, so we're gonna go with Proxima Nova. Yeah. All right. And uppercase here. Yep. And then make it white. Great. All right. This is meant to be super simplistic, so why not? Okay. Now you can obviously do your own thing here, whatever you want. Just gonna center this. There we go. Yay. All right, so let me go ahead and save this. And I like art optimize. That's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. Okay, I'm gonna save it and then we'll come back and we'll talk more. Okay, doke. So what you'll see is that I've added my screenshot.png into my Divi child folder. Go in here. Hey, look, groovy sites. Yay. Okay. And if you go to your site, you're going to see after you refresh, you'll see that this comes back. So go in and we'll go to dashboard, appearance, themes. Hey, look at that. We have groovy sites. It's that simple. So this is how you make a Divi child theme. Again, just to recap those steps, what we're going to do is create a style.css file. And inside of that, we'll add a comment block and we'll add the different theme metadata. Then we're going to go ahead and create a functions.php file and make sure to enqueue the parent style so that the Divi style sheet will be loaded alongside the child theme style sheet. That's pretty important. And then we create a screenshot.png. Again, what we used for the screenshot.png was a file that was 1200 pixels wide by 900 pixels tall. So it's just those three pieces. And actually all you technically need is a style.css file to get started. So I love this about WordPress. It's pretty simple to get going. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions for me, definitely let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.